What up? It's your boy T-Bird and reaction. Today's Wrestling Wednesday. About to get into a video, which is my kind of video from Wrestling Bios. This is, they read too long ago. They had more awesome heel turns, boo. But we got more awesome pro wrestling babyface turns. Yes, my kind of video when folks like myself that represent for the good guys, the heroes, and some anti-heroes as well too, with baby faces, aka face turns as well too. Unfortunately, I mean, it's like reason why I go hard for the baby faces, the baby faces, the heroes, the good guys, because like nowadays folks are like don't want to roll with them anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like folks would rather either pick a bad guy over a good guy, or rather be a hero. And then you be like choices of you had a chance to be a hero or a villain. Sadly, majority of people pick villain. The closest they pick a hero is the anti-hero, which just sucks because like people don't want to be good guys and people don't want to be good guys or heroes anymore. I don't get it, but that's why I go hard with this though, so that people can still be good guys. People can live long enough to see themselves still as the good guys, the hero, the babyface, like, or good in general, right? I hate, and even Ginger Mahal try to push that you live long to see some of the villain nonsense. Bullshit. People should be able to live long enough to see themselves as the hero and good guy still, no matter what. No matter what they do, all right? And if people don't like good people, then something wrong with that person as well too. Like, they dislike you for being a good person or a good guy. Something wrong with them. They may be miserable, who knows, but something wrong with them if anybody dislike you for being a good person, man. I'm gonna say that. That's my opinion. I'm gonna stick with it. So anyway, we're gonna get into some we're gonna check out more awesome pro wrestling baby turns. So I can't see which infamous baby turns we'll see that happen in wrestling. So let's get it.
Alright, we're going to look at some more face turns in today's video. In the last face turn video, I asked you guys to tell me some of your favorite baby face turns, and as always, you guys gave me a bunch to work with. So every turn mentioned in this video comes directly from the previous video's comment section. These are all turns that you guys enjoyed and moments that you felt should have been mentioned in the previous video. So sit back, relax, and enjoy watching another bunch of bad guys turning good.
Oh, yes. This was a good one. Yes. Yeah, and he had a good face run too, especially get the Mountie. Oh, yes. This was good. R.I.P. to my big boy too.
Ray Triller's Big Boss Man gimmick was inspired by his previous career as a corrections officer.
Oh, so he did have a career. It's fine. It's crazy to hear stories that like some of the people wrestling gimmicks are based on like previous career, previous experience as well too. So yeah, because a lot of wrestling gimmicks in the 90s and late 80s, early to mid 90s were like based off of like worker gimmicks and stuff like that as well too, or like occupational career gimmicks.
Bossman wasn't a nice WWF corrections officer though. He would lay down the law by cuffing his fallen victims to the ring ropes and beating them with his nightstick. Bossman played the villain for just under 2 years, but then he got the opportunity to turn babyface when Ted DiBiase paid Slick, the Bossman's manager, to retrieve the stolen $1 Million Championship from Jake Roberts. On the February 24th, 1990 episode of Superstars on the Brother Love Show, the Bossman got hold of a bag that had both the $1 Million Championship and Jake's pet snake Damien inside. And instead of accepting DiBiase's money for the bag, the Bossman handed Damien and the championship back to Jake Roberts. Instantly, the fans accepted Bossman as a good guy. Yes. He would defeat his old tag team partner Akeem at WrestleMania 6. He got on well with old rival Hulk Hogan, and he stopped handcuffing guys to the ring ropes because, well, that's a little excessive for a corrections officer, right? Surely a real corrections officer wouldn't do such a Actually, no, scrap that. Bossman was pretty successful as a babyface, but when he returned to WWF years later, he was put straight back in a villainous role when he became Vince McMahon's own personal security guard.
But yeah, I wish they kind of mentioned his feud about the Monty. That feud was awesome right there, didn't it? Including the jail match where you call it when whoever loses had to go to jail. That was a good feud right there. What we got here?
Well, last week I come back to
Nikita
America,
Koloff.
and I hear about Magnum TA.
A wonderful
I heard about
babyface
this
turn
one.
here that worked because
I heard-
everyone involved was
This is a little before slightly before my time, but I heard this was a very good face front right here. It was one of them shocking ones.
super over, and the territory itself was white hot. Dusty Rhodes and Magnum
Shout out to Cody Will beating Baron Corbin's ass for talking about his day. You know, me expressing stuff in on the wrestling group got me all 6-day probation with Official Days Facebook jail with Facebook, which is stupid. And then fortunately the group I was in had to decide to let me go because they didn't want me to put the group in jeopardy. But that's another story. But yeah, Facebook's getting ridiculous with this restriction. I gotta type an asterisk nowadays. Like, it's sad.
TA were scheduled to face Tully
Can't say
Blanchard and
whoop
Ole
or something
Anderson
like that,
in a
that's
cage
stupid.
match, but things took a real bad turn, to put it lightly, when Magnum TA was involved in a car crash that ended his career.
Yeah.
Magnum, of course, couldn't compete in the match, so Dusty would need to get himself a replacement. Dusty Rhodes would attack Tully Blanchard, and Tully ended up with a knee injury, so he too had to get replaced.
Yep.
And because Arn Anderson and Ric Flair were already booked on the show, JJ Dillon had to step in to replace Tully. So even though Tully's out and JJ's in, the Horsemen think the cage match is going to be a walk in the park. On October 24th, the night of the cage match, Dusty walks out with an unlikely ally.
Yep.
It's Nikita Koloff. Nikita portrayed a villain from the USSR when political tensions were high, but towards the end of the 80s, the era of the Russian villain was coming to an end, thanks to US and USSR relations easing to a certain degree. So Dusty took the opportunity to turn Nikita into a good guy. You still had a feeling that Nikita was going to turn on Dusty. He has this look on his face as he steps into the cage where you can tell he's still making a decision in his mind. But my god, the crowd reaction when
Yep.
Nikita begins attacking Ole Anderson is nothing short of
Look at-
amazing. Dusty and Nikita win the match. Flair and Tully's reactions on the outside are absolutely priceless. And the turn was solidified on the TBS World Championship Wrestling show when Nikita announced that he had a lot of respect for Magnum TA.
Here we go. What's next?
Just in case.
Yes! 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 If you, I already told you the story with this as well too. I heard, I could be wrong, but yeah, I told you about that though. Like, he might say it too. If not, I said it that they was depending on how the crowd accepted him, how he go along with the crowd. If he went heel, they gonna probably bring the Rock out. But lo and behold, he went face and he brought out the perfect person to face to go against him as a face. As during his face run was his old rival Kurt Angle, which he had a little tweener face run a little bit as well too before turning back heel to reveal he was the accomplices to Austin run over with Rikishi.
Gotten. Let me tell you just into who the hell I am.
Yes.
People enjoyed this one because of the unexpected hero's welcome Triple H received when he returned from a quad
Yep.
injury in early 2002.
Exactly.
Hunter's injury occurred during a tag team match where he and Steve Austin took on Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit. The game finished the match while clearly in a lot of pain, but afterwards he was going to need surgery and a lot of rehab. 8 months is a long time in the world of pro wrestling, and there
And
was
unfortunately,
really
in the minutes now on the invasion angle, I always wonder what if he was involved in the invasion angle, he would roll with Team WWE or defect as well too. Comment down below what you think.
no way to tell how the crowd would react when Hunter came back. He was one of the company's top villains for years prior to this return, so nothing was guaranteed when the game came back to Raw. On the 7th of January 2002, Triple H returned to Madison Square Garden and he received an incredible ovation from the audience, pretty much making him a babyface the moment he stepped out into the arena. You'll be hard-pressed to
I
find
hope
this-
they kind of do that with Cole right now, man. I know Cole brother turning injury, man. I hope he has a good face run. He needs a face run because the crowd loves him, man. He needs a face run.
sustained pop longer than this one, and Triple H being all fired up during his entrance just adds to the moment. The thing is, Triple H said he didn't know how to act as a babyface. While DX had a babyface run with Hunter leading the group, it was still juvenile promos and antics that got them over. Here in the Garden, Hunter had to be a little more traditional in terms of what he said as a good guy, and he admitted to feeling very uncomfortable during this promo. Still, it's a great moment and it's a great turn, but I echo Triple H's sentiments about his character. I prefer Triple H as a bad guy.
Of course he would, but I like, me, I prefer any wrestler as a good guy because I always roll with the good guys. If I roll with the heels, I want people to get a wrong idea, say I embrace that, which I don't. What we got next?
I guess you could say that Andre
This is a good one.
is no longer
This is a good
member of the
one.
Heenan family, Jess.
It's quite a poignant babyface turn, this one, because it was also Andre's final WWF television appearance, meaning he left the big time with his head held high as a pro wrestling hero. We all know how Andre became associated with Bobby Heenan, and if not, check out my heel turn video. But through this relationship with Heenan, Andre also formed a tag team with Haku, another member of the Heenan family. Known as the Colossal Connection, this tag team was put together to make wrestling a little
It was
easier.
cool that back then they used to have their names in the back of it and and a crazy logo. It was pretty awesome, old school back then.
On Andre's body, and to also fill the void that the Brainbusters left when they returned to the NWA. At WrestleMania 6, the Colossal Connection were defeated by Demolition, and they also lost the WWF Tag Team Championships. Bobby Heenan began screaming at Andre, and Andre got blamed for the big loss. Heenan then slapped Andre across the face, and Andre lost it. The big man grabbed Bobby and
He
knocked him out
started
of the
shaking his
ring, and Haku was also taken care of by the 8th wonder of the world. The fans in the Toronto Sky Dome loved it, and
Yes.
in hindsight, it gave us a bit of closure on Andre's WWF run. Deep down, the Giant still knew right from wrong.
Yeah! Oh, yes! 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 To this day, one of my top favorite face turns. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! And I said they literally turn face. Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
This face turn was kinda done in two parts, but let me explain. The Shield worked for the Authority. Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns were enforcers for Triple H from around August 2013, but the trio were also pretty popular since debuting the year prior. On the March 17th, 2014 episode of Raw, Corporate Kane said Jerry Lawler was instrumental in Daniel Bryan holding Raw hostage the week prior in Memphis with his whole Occupy Raw thing. So Kane told Jerry Lawler to get in the ring to receive his punishment. The Shield appeared and they too told the King to get inside the ropes, and the Shield escorted Jerry into the ring where Kane was waiting to take action. Kane wanted to know if Lawler had any last words, but Seth Rollins grabbed the mic and he said Daniel Bryan won't be coming down to help Jerry. The Shield, however, always do what's best for business. Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns then turn around and they
Literally
face
turn
Corporate
face.
Kane. The crowd pops and a yes chant breaks out. Kane tells the Shield to stand down, but instead he takes a beating from all three men, and the crowd
Yes.
absolutely loved
Yes.
it. This all led to a 6-man tag match at WrestleMania 30.
Until-
Kane and New Authority members,
Yeah.
the New Age Outlaws versus Rollins, Reigns, and Ambrose. But even after this match, the Shield were still loosely associated with the Authority, and they were still being summoned to meetings by Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. On the April 7th episode of Raw, though, that all changed when the Shield stood face to face with Evolution and Kane. Triple H said he didn't want this to
with
break
Evolution
down
was
into an
lovely.
all-out war,
Yes.
but the Shield cemented their
Until,
new roles
unfortunately,
as company
that incident
babyfaces
happened.
when they began fighting with the Authority. Fans had wanted to cheer for the Shield for a very long time,
Yes.
and now there was nothing holding them back.
Yes. And I'm glad he put that, because there be times I'd be wanting to cheer for a certain wrestler, but fortunately the heel, the villain, and most of us, and it's good people. There's no people like I'm not the only one that don't root for bad guy villains. When that happened, fans get to cheer for him. I like what that said right there, though. Love it. But let's go. Who's next? Who's next? Oh yeah, Virgil. Even though it didn't capitalize well, but still is a good moment.
Virgil was used as a personal bodyguard for the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, but along with being a bodyguard, he was also treated like Ted's personal servant. Virgil had no issues going
that?
along with it, but a slow turn began to form when DiBiase started treating Virgil with less and less respect as the weeks and months went on. Virgil wasn't happy with his employer. He realized he was being
That's
treated
ridiculous,
very
right?
poorly, and it all came to a head at the 1991 Royal Rumble. DiBiase and Virgil defeated Dusty and Dustin Rhodes, and after the match, DiBiase ordered Virgil to put the $1 Million belt around his waist. Virgil hesitates for a moment and then he smacks DiBiase over the head with DiBiase's prized possession. Now, if you so much as mention Virgil or Vincent nowadays, it's usually met with a smirk or a little laugh.
Yeah.
But fans at the 1991 Royal Rumble went absolutely insane.
It's a shame that his career didn't capitalize at all. He has been known as a lackey. Even within WO, he was a lackey as well too. It's crazy.
When Virgil turned on DiBiase, and you'd legitimately think the WWF had just gotten themselves their next big single star. Seriously, the reaction was absolute money. Virgil would get put with Roddy Piper to help fast track his rise in popularity. He would be a constant thorn in DiBiase's side during matches that didn't involve Virgil at all. And then at SummerSlam 91, Virgil got another great reaction when he defeated DiBiase for the $1 million belt in Madison Square Garden. Reportedly, though, his mic work and overall lack of charisma didn't impress Vince McMahon very much, and he was pushed down the cards throughout 1992. But for a brief moment, it looked like the sky was the limit for Michael Jones.
All I can say, Gorilla,
demolitions.
definitely had a major falling out happen here tonight.
While seen early on as another ripoff of the incredibly popular Road Warriors, Demolition were able to carve out their own legacy by becoming very successful during the early days of their careers. At WrestleMania 4, they defeated Strikeforce to become WWF Tag Team Champions for the first time, but they also got a little help from their manager, Mr. Fuji. Fuji was very instrumental in the early success of Demolition, but he was also instrumental in turning Axe and Smash into good guys. At Survivor Series 89, a 10-man tag team Survivor Series match took place. The two teams featured babyfaces and heels. On the heel side, we had Demolition. On the babyface side, we had the Powers of Pain. Demolition were taking care of the Warlord when Mr. Fuji opened the ropes and Smash fell out of the ring, causing Demolition.
Yeah, I think this was like the first ever this was like an early incarnation of a double turn at the time. Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah, because everybody, the most infamous one is still between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, but this was like one of the earlier ever double turns.
To get counted out and eliminated from the Survivor Series match. Mr. Fuji denied any wrongdoing when approached by Axe, but when Axe turned his back, Mr. Fuji hit him with his cane. Smash saw it all go down, and Smash threw Fuji into Axe, allowing Axe to body slam his former manager and giving the fans a reason to cheer for Demolition. Immediately afterwards, the Powers of Pain, who were previously babyfaces, helped Mr. Fuji, and Mr. Fuji would then help Warlord and Barbarian win the Survivor Series match. So what we ended up with here was a double turn where Demolition turned babyface and the Powers of Pain turned heel. After the match, Fuji said he was responsible for Demolition. Fuji made them champions. Demolition thought they knew more than...
Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. By the way, ain't one of them like Tongan or Samoan? I'm trying to remember one of the guys from Powers of Pain, whatever.
Mr. Fuji, but now the Powers of Pain are going to destroy Axe and Smash. Demolition became very popular following Survivor Series 98, but you gotta give Mr. Fuji a lot of credit for this one too.
Here we go. Who's next?
Fans couldn't believe their eyes.
Another one was, I love the face turns. Unfortunately, it got badly executed as well too.
No, could it be? It was Lex Luger.
The WWF was going through another post-Hulk Hogan era by the summer of 1993. Hulk came back for Mania 9, he dropped the belt to Yokozuna, the King of the Ring, and Vince McMahon seemed eager to find a new star that would replace Hulk Hogan as the company's resident All-American do-gooder. In Vince's eyes, Lex Luger fit the bill, and it appeared that McMahon only made this decision based on Lex's look and size. But do keep in mind too that Lex was still pretty experienced by 1993, plus his babyface turn in the NWA back in 87 went over really well too. The way the WWF went about turning the narcissist Lex Luger into a good guy was definitely done very well though. I love the overall presentation of this one and the concept was good too. On the USS Intrepid, the WWF held a body slam challenge, and to win this body slam challenge, all you had to do was slam WWF champion Yokozuna. The Steiner brothers failed, Tatanka, Randy Savage and Crush all failed. Pro footballers and basketball players couldn't get the job done, but here comes a helicopter with someone inside hoping to do the honors and body slam Yokozuna in front of around 1,000 fans in the blazing hot sun. Lex Luger walks out and he's wearing a Stars and Stripes shirt. The fans are already cheering for Lex as he steps inside the ring, but they go crazy when he pulls off the body slam. Fans were overjoyed when Yokozuna got slammed, and Lex's babyface turn had been completed. And we all know that Luger failed to connect with the audience as time went on, but that body slam on the Intrepid is still a memorable moment in WWF history. Lex Luger could now be your hero, but only if you want Lex to be your hero, and you probably don't.
That's what sucks. That was sucked about that one. It sucked that they didn't the crowd wasn't filling in or anything. I felt bad for him, but anyway. Yes. Yup.
I don't really count this one as a full-blown babyface turn because we all knew that this was eventually going to happen, and it didn't really feel like Daniel turned heel in the first place.
Yeah.
But I'm including it here because a few of you guys mentioned it in the comments, and also it's one of the best moments of Daniel's whole WWE run, in my opinion. I'm not kidding, and I'm not saying this as a figure of speech, but I legitimately got goosebumps when watching this happen on Raw. No lies, this is actually one of those moments that I felt. Daniel had been getting run down pretty hard by the Authority. Triple H and Stephanie had been making Daniel's life a misery, and on top of that, Daniel was also dealing with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. Eventually, Daniel realized that no matter how much the fans cheered for him, it was never going to lead to him getting a big break against the Machine. So Daniel caved in and he joined the Wyatt family. For a few weeks, Bryan was known as Daniel Wyatt and he would follow Bray's lead, but deep down, we all knew this wasn't going to last. On the January 13th...
This is what I'm wondering about Sami Callihan with the design, man. I'm wondering if we're getting something like that as well too with Sami Callihan, because something's not right. It just don't seem right with him with the design and then going along with it, man. Something's gotta be up, man.
2014 episode of Raw, Bray and Daniel were scheduled to face the Usos inside a steel cage, and it was on this night where Daniel decided to leave the Wyatt family. As short-lived as it was, the payoff was like something that had been building up for over a year. When Bryan attacked Bray, the crowd lost it, but when he stood in the corner to begin a slow yes chant, the reaction was absolutely incredible. Woo! Bray takes a running knee, Daniel climbs the cage, and while I agree the WWE's production team deserves all the flack they get for their bad camera work and camera cuts, they done an absolute stellar job here of capturing the atmosphere in the arena. The camera sweeping around the ring and the audience to show everyone chanting yes along with Daniel was absolute perfection, and it just further solidified Daniel as the man in WWE during this era. I don't consider it a full-blown face turn. Daniel was still babyface in my opinion during his brief association with the Wyatts, but seeing as quite a few of you guys brought this up and seeing as I remembered it so well, I thought it was worth mentioning in this video.
Alright, what we got next?
I got him the Heartbreak Kid. I don't need.
It's a crazy thing about it, though. It's a crazy thing I heard about this. When Sid did body slam him, they were cheering Sid at first until Diesel came on, so they ended up making it face up with Shawn. That was the crazy thing about it. He might say that in this thing, but that was the crazy thing about it, though.
Again, this is one I don't necessarily agree with because I think there's been a lot better babyface turns, but I'm not just going to pick out comments that I agree with. You guys liked it when HBK turned babyface in 1995 after WrestleMania 11, and while the turn itself would have big consequences in terms of the WWF main event scene in 1996, it was a turn that wasn't originally supposed to happen. When Shawn wrestled Diesel at WrestleMania 11, Vince McMahon wanted a strong kick out from Diesel after the champ got hit with Sweet Chin Music. Diesel and Shawn protested it, saying the fans are going to hate it when Big Daddy Cool kicks out of HBK's finish like it was nothing, and Shawn elaborated on this when he wrote in his book, "We told Vince that we thought the people weren't going to like it, but Vince wanted it, so that was what we did. When the time came for the kick, I hit Kevin with it and he popped up at 1. The boos came raining down. I knew it," Kevin grumbled. The next day, we had a television taping in Poughkeepsie. When I arrived at the building, Vince told me he wanted to talk. "Shawn, we're going to switch you babyface." "What? It's because of the kick out, isn't it?" "It was a bad call on my part, I admit it." "Why is it affecting me? I'm the only heel that you have," Shawn said. "They like you, the people like you, Shawn. They like me, but they like to hate me. Now is not the time. You make the mistake and it costs me my career. I was not happy." "We're going to have Sid drop you, injure you tonight, and you'll go home for 6 weeks." I was so frustrated, so bummed. We had told him that the people were gonna boo. "Vince," I said, "I would never tell you how to run your business, but please leave the wrestling to me." Then I went and told Kevin what was happening. "They're taking me off for 6 weeks. What for? They're turning me babyface. It's because of the kick out, isn't it?" The night after WrestleMania 11, Shawn told his bodyguard Sid to take the night off, and Sid wasn't prepared to do so. So Big Sid dropped Shawn with a powerbomb, and Diesel ran down for the save. Shawn was taken off TV for a while, and when he came back to wrestle King Kong Bundy and a King of the Ring,
came back with a little scruffy beard, man. I did like the scruffy beard, Babyface scruffy beard song right there.
Fang match on Raw, the fans were very much in his corner. The babyface turn worked out very well for Shawn. His fans began to gravitate towards his flamboyance rather than hate the guy for his cockiness. Like Triple H, though, I always enjoyed watching Shawn play a heel role in WWF.
I see he's a heel lover. Anyway,
but he put on some.
It's kind of like how I felt about Polano when he did the Babyface Sucks video.
Absolutely incredible matches too during his time as a babyface.
Here we got two more look like. Who was it?
The Rock
Yep.
still locked out of Backlash.
Yes,
the
sir.
People's Champ.
In the past 2 heel videos I put together, The Rock got featured in both uploads. I talked about Rock joining the Nation and joining the corporation, but you guys also enjoyed seeing Rock finally turn into a fully fledged babyface when he said goodbye to Team Corporate the night after Backlash 1999. At WrestleMania 15,
many of us became a big Rock fan when he finally turned face and became the People's Champion. Yes!
The Rock represented the corporation as WWF champion. He was always a proud member of the faction, and in Vince's words, he was the crown jewel of Team Corporate. Rock lost the WWF championship to Steve Austin at Mania 15, and Vince McMahon would have his hands full trying to protect his daughter from the Undertaker's Ministry of Darkness. But Rock still remained part of the corporation, and he had another opportunity to win the WWF title at Backlash. Shane McMahon, who had taken over the corporation from Vince, refereed the Austin vs. Rock rematch, and it was partly because of Shane that Rock lost the bout. But that didn't stop Shane from berating The Rock the next night on Raw. Rock, of course, wasn't having it. So when The Rock spoke back to Shane in a way that only The Rock could, old Shane ordered the corporation to attack the former champ. Rock was out of the corporation for good, and he wouldn't get involved with the corporate ministry either, although he would fight members of that faction over the next couple of months.
Yep.
It's an important face turn though, because there was no swerve this time around. Rock would go on to become an absolute megastar within WWF.
I said it because the first time he turned face after the Nation, it was like for a slight minute before he swerved into being the heel again for the corporation. So that's why he said that.
And his popularity was only matched and maybe surpassed by Stone Cold Steve Austin at this time.
Yeah. Alright, we got one more. Who's the final one?
I hope you guys
Oh,
enjoyed
that's
this
it.
one.
That
And
was
if you
the
left a
final one.
comment on the previous video, then I hope the superstar of your choice was selected for this upload. We have now looked at quite a lot of turns, and I'd be happy enough to close this off by saying we've looked at some of the absolute best babyface turns in pro wrestling history. But there's still more that I haven't talked about, and there's gonna be more as time goes on. So we'll do this again some.
I can't wait to see more. There's plenty more face turns I want to be covered though, for real. But yes, good video as always. You know I love a video that talks about the babyface, that give high praise to babyfaces, not downplay them as well too. It show that it's good to be a good guy at times. A lot of people, because especially nowadays, folks don't see being a good guy as something good anymore. It was sucks. I'm saying, like I said earlier, like that line of being even alone, if you die here or alone or sees the villain is bullshit. It shouldn't be the only. It shouldn't be the only option. It shouldn't be one of the only. It shouldn't be inevitable to live long and be a villain. It should be long enough to still be a good guy, still be a hero, still be a babyface as well too. No matter what, it should. You should not live long enough to be something hated. It should be live long enough to be loved. For real, is always. That's my opinion. All right, I'm gonna stick with it no matter what. I'm gonna fight that quote and end the cycle as well, and in the cycle as well too, for a positive way as well too. Because the reason I say a cycle, because sometimes I say folks who have been bullied, picked on, everything, the only option to be villains. No, You can live long enough to still be a good guy as well too. All right, I'm always going to refute that one. The only available in life you should worry about is life. Is living. Is life and living. That's all. Other than that, that's one thing you can't control. I mean, I would love to live as long as I can, way longer, to at least 100. To my kids, have grandkids as well too. Other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bear signing off. One love.